Now in court today, two key things that I want to just start it off with. Now, they were cross-examining Cassie for day 4. They came up about Cassie having an affair with another person besides Kid Cudi. Now, during her relationship with Diddy, it was accused that she was messing around with Kid Cudi, in which Diddy blew up the car allegedly.
While Diddy's courtroom battle grabs national headlines, a far more personal storm is unfolding behind the scenes. In a moment that left the entire room stunned, Diddy revealed what he believes truly tore his relationship apart: Cassie's secret connection with Michael B. Jordan. What follows is betrayal at a shocking level.
Stepped down from the witness stand. The jury was dismantled for a short recess after. Now in court, the first question was, "You love Mr. Combs, correct?" Cassie replied, "I did." They laid the foundation. Cassie cared deeply for Diddy, described him as larger than life, and admitted that she was in love with him for over a decade. She told the jury that she felt safe in his arms early on, that he was sweet and charismatic. They exchanged messages like, "I love you so much it makes..."
The courtroom is silent, but the energy inside is explosive. Diddy, locked in the most public legal fight of his life, finally breaks his silence on something far more personal than any lawsuit. In front of flashing cameras and shocked reporters, he doesn't just defend himself. He opens a wound the world never saw coming. According to sources close to the trial, Diddy is now pointing the finger directly at Cassie and Michael B. Jordan, not just for betrayal, but for breaking something sacred.
Cassie confirmed that Diddy controlled nearly every aspect of her life, from what she wore, to how she wore her nails, to the lighting that was set up for the infamous freak-offs. The defense pulled up messages from 2009 through 2016, showing her and Diddy collaborate for freak-offs. In one exchange, Diddy says, "Friday it is. I wish we can get Jules here." Cassie responds, "LOL, maybe we can. Want to call him?" She admits she followed through and called the guy. Now let's talk about the drugs. Cassie admitted both she and Diddy were heavily into opioids, X, and other substances. They even called themselves the Get High Partners. But Diddy didn't like when she got too high without him. According to Cassie, if he found out she used drugs with friends instead of him, he'd explode. He even went as far as telling the drug dealers in LA not to sell to her. When asked what kept her in a relationship, she said it was love, but also addiction to drugs and to him. The defense tried to poke holes in Cassie's claim about witnessing abuse. One major incident involved a wooden hanger being thrown at her friend Carrie Morgan. Cassie admits she didn't see it happen. She was in the bedroom, but came out later to find her friend hurt. That moment...
He claims the cracks in his relationship with Cassie didn't come from fame, pressure, or time. They came from deception, from whispers, from hidden messages and missing pieces that didn't make sense. Until now. Diddy says he watched the woman he once trusted completely begin to change in front of him, become distant, guarded, and emotionally disconnected. And now, standing under oath, he's blaming one man for it all: Michael B. Jordan.
She also described trying to heal, therapy, rehab, trauma counseling, all while raising kids with her now husband. At one point, she said, "I couldn't take the pain anymore." And when asked why testifying today, she told the court, "I can't carry this anymore. What's wrong is wrong." The cross-examination painted a twisted, layered, and emotional view of Cassie's time with Sean Combs. It wasn't black and white. It was real affection, deep trauma, and everything in between. But one thing is clear, both the prosecution and the defense are treating Cassie as a central figure in this case. And we're not done. More witnesses are expected. More bombshells could drop. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single update with IDN.
He's not calling it coincidence. He's not suggesting friendship. He's outright saying their connection was the final blow. Something that not only shattered his relationship, but destroyed the trust he once thought was unshakable. The courtroom didn't expect this. The audience didn't breathe. And with this revelation, the entire tone of the trial shifted. This isn't just about legal battles or reputation anymore. This is about the collapse of a man who says he gave everything, only to be left questioning what was real and what was a lie.
See, I can just think about that. I just knew this had to be on the. Okay, Diddy, Diddy with the dildos. He's now going to trial. I don't know why Diddy is still in jail. What evidence do they have to keep somebody in jail so long? Yeah, we saw a video of him hitting Cassie. That was bad. But he's not in jail for hitting Cassie. He's in jail for a lot of things that he may have alleged to have done or not done. But he hasn't been given his time in court yet because he's going through the process. But here's the deal. This is the thing. You're convicted in public now through social media. On Cinco de Mayo of all days, Diddy's federal sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy case officially began in New York City. Now, so far, we have not only learned about Michael B. Jordan's name popping.
In today's breakdown, we're uncovering the storm behind the courtroom walls, Diddy's emotional accusations, the unraveling of trust, and the names at the center of it all, Cassie and Michael B. Jordan. Let's discuss how Diddy felt Cassie slip away.
What?
Yeah. Not in that way, though. Yeah.
What way?
Kind of like, you know how Kid Cudi's also mentioned, but like regarding to like Cassie, and then when Diddy like allegedly burned his car.
What did they say was Michael B. Jordan? Well, let me go on.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's name popped up, but Diddy's newest attorney is a sex assault survivor. Now, according to Rolling Stone, during the first day of jury screenings, several names were thrown out to potential jurors, including Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Mike Myers, and Cassie herself, who's listed under her government name, Cassandra Ventura. But when Michael B. Jordan's name hit the list, eyebrows were raised, because in Cassie's $30 million civil lawsuit filed in November 2023, she referred to a secret 2015 romance with a then unnamed actor. In her suit, she claimed that once Diddy found out, he allegedly became enraged, tracked down the actor, and threatened him directly.
Allegedly.
It didn't happen all at once. There was no loud fight, no clear warning, no scene to point back to. But something began to shift slowly, quietly, and deeply. Diddy felt it long before he understood it. Cassie, once so present, so emotionally locked in, began to fade. Not physically, she was still there, but her energy wasn't. The warmth she used to bring into the room started to feel distant. Conversations that once stretched for hours turned into short replies. Her laughter became rare. Her affection, routine.
No.
You don't?
I don't think so.
Why?
I feel like there is a lot of names. There was like almost 20 names that were brought up, and I just feel like he's gonna go down. There's powers that be that I feel like are higher than Diddy, and the fact that he's been kept in so long. And the jurors, I'm following them, a bunch of them are the media people, because you know you can't take photos in there, but everyone's saying that Diddy, he's looking at every single juror and like intimidatingly and like seeing who will break eye contact, and apparently he's like super gray now. I wish they could take photos in there and cameras, because
She wasn't leaning in anymore, she was leaning out. Diddy noticed the difference in the smallest things, like how she stopped texting first, how she'd respond to his messages late and always with less emotion. The good morning texts became dry. The calls, once playful and passionate, were now short and cold. She started canceling dinner plans, studio sessions, even family time. And whenever he tried to talk to her, really talk, she seemed distracted, like her mind was somewhere else. Or maybe with someone else. For a man like Diddy, someone who survived betrayals, business wars, industry snakes, this kind of silence felt louder than anything. It wasn't just emotional distance. It was detachment, a break. A signal that something real was slipping away. He confronted it in his own mind before he ever said it out loud. Maybe she was tired. Maybe it was stress. But deep down, he knew better. He knew what this kind of silence meant. Not just from a partner, but from a woman you once thought would ride or die. What he couldn't explain, he felt. And what he felt was betrayal setting in. Not fully exposed yet, but creeping in, quietly. This moment, when love becomes doubt, when connection turns into suspicion, wasn't just painful. It was the true start of everything that followed. Diddy would later say this was when the story changed.
Is this not going to be televised?
no, it's federal, so it's not. But yeah, the Michael B. Jordan thing, so he was being flirtatious with Cassie. They spent New Year's Eve together, and then Diddy called him and was threatening him to kill him and stuff. So that's why his name is dropped. And now it's crazy because he just slayed everything in Sinners, and now he's dropped.
But is it illegal to threaten somebody? Like to call and threaten. Like, if you do this, I'm gonna kill you.
I think so.
I mean, people do it all the time, don't they?
When Cassie wasn't just growing apart, she was already gone. And he was left trying to understand when she had slipped away and who she might have been slipping toward. At first, Michael B. Jordan wasn't even a thought in Diddy's mind. There was no suspicion, no jealousy. They were in the same world, the same elite social circles. If anything, Diddy saw him the way most people did. A successful actor, charming, polished, and always in the spotlight for the right reasons. There was no tension, no red flags, just another name in the room. But over time, subtle patterns began to form. Diddy noticed that Cassie's energy would shift whenever Michael's name was mentioned. Her expression would change. Not obviously, not dramatically, but just enough. She'd go quiet. Her gaze would wander. She became emotionally absent, like she was reliving a memory in real time. It wasn't just the silence that bothered him. It was the timing. The way Cassie's sudden change in behavior seemed to line up with the events and locations Michael also appeared at. The same parties, the same after-hours events, the same travel circles. The overlap was too frequent to ignore.
Well, either way, I can't wait to see this trial go through its process. I mean, if Diddy comes out unscathed and not convicted, there's going to be a lot of problems.
A lot.
I still want to know all the dildos and all that stuff.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
All right, well, listen, either way, we'll be watching. And look, I'm still sending my love to all the guys, Quincy, Christian, the girls, everybody over there, all the kids, because I just, I feel bad that they have been dragged into all this. Quincy, Justin, Christian, and the girls. All three of the girls. Anyway, bye, y'all. All right, that's enough. It's time for Thoughts.
Diddy tried to shut the thoughts down. He told himself it was coincidence. He clung to the belief that Cassie would never cross that line. For a while, he believed it. Maybe out of love, maybe out of pride. But eventually, the pattern became undeniable. People close to him started whispering. Industry friends dropped hints. A few even came forward, privately, telling him that the connection between Cassie and Michael seemed deeper than just passing familiarity. But even then, Diddy tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Because once trust is broken, it doesn't shatter instantly. It cracks, slowly. In the courtroom, Diddy didn't just express frustration. He spoke with the weight of a man who had watched the woman he loved gradually shift her loyalty towards someone else. Someone he once respected. What cut deeper was the realization that it wasn't some anonymous outsider. It was someone from within his world. Someone he never considered a threat. Someone who became the invisible shadow in his relationship. Diddy came to believe this wasn't a passive flirtation. It was emotional infiltration. Something that pulled Cassie away from him. Mentally, emotionally, and eventually, physically. And by the time he realized it, she was already gone. It started as a simple escape. Cassie told Diddy she needed space, time to clear her head, a chance to breathe away from the chaos. So, without hesitation, she booked a first-class flight, alone to South Africa. A solo journey that, on the surface, seemed innocent enough. A break from everything. But what Cassie didn't share with Diddy was a secret shadow trailing behind her. Just hours after her plane touched down, another aircraft landed in the same city, a private jet belonging to none other than Michael B. Jordan. The timing wasn't coincidence, Bisad. It was calculated. Gene Deal, Diddy's trusted bodyguard and a man who had seen it all, stepped forward with chilling testimony. He revealed that Cassie and Michael had been spotted together, not in some crowded public place, but at a secluded private villa nestled just outside Cape Town. A location chosen for privacy, far from prying eyes. Surveillance teams tried desperately to get close, to capture proof of what was unfolding. But Michael's elite security detail stood as an impenetrable wall. No one was allowed near. Cassie simply vanished from the public eye, shielded by the fortress around her. Jan's words cut through the courtroom silence like a knife. She disappeared on them, protected, hidden. The undeniable truth was that they were together. That wasn't speculation. It was fact. Though the photos from that villa never made it to the public, they were shown in the courtroom. Images that sent shockwaves through everyone present. The visuals weren't just evidence, they were a brutal revelation. the kind that freezes a room and shatters illusions. This wasn't just a trip. It wasn't a harmless getaway. It was something far more. A betrayal wrapped in luxury and secrecy. Diddy, hearing it all laid bare, understood that everything had shifted. The ground beneath him cracked, and nothing would ever be the same again. The South Africa disappearance wasn't just a story. It was the moment when the invisible cracks became a chasm. A turning point where trust dissolved and the lines of loyalty blurred beyond repair. What came next stunned everyone in the courtroom. Something no one could have anticipated. Jan Deal, Diddy's longtime bodyguard, didn't just confirm that Cassie and Michael B. Jordan had been together. He revealed something far deeper, far more intimate. How they were together. The words hung in the air, heavy and charged with an unspoken weight. Jan's testimony was raw and unfiltered. He said Cassie came back from that trip changed, not just emotionally or mentally, but physically and intimately. She was different in ways Diddy had never seen before, ways that shocked even those closest to her. Jan spoke quietly but clearly about how Michael had taught Cassie things that left a lasting impression on Diddy. The courtroom was forced to pause. The judge called for a recess as the gravity of the moment settled over everyone present. Diddy sat frozen, his expression unreadable, lips pressed tight, eyes fixed on nothing in particular. There was no need to look around. He already knew that his private pain had just been laid bare for the entire world to witness. The truth was out. Cassie had changed. And in Diddy's heart, he believed Michael had taught her how. The idea tore at him. A man who felt he had shaped and molded the woman he loved was now watching someone else rewrite that script. Someone else take control. "I made her," Diddy whispered in the courtroom's quiet, and he reprogrammed her. Those words echoed far beyond the walls of the courtroom. They carried a pain so raw, so real, it was impossible to ignore. Whether people believed Diddy's version or not, the anguish in his voice was unmistakable. It was a man confronting a deep, personal loss. A betrayal not just of trust, but of identity. That day, the courtroom wasn't just a place of legal battle. It became a stage for heartbreak, a moment when personal wounds were exposed for all to see. And in that silence, the truth shattered everything. Just when it seemed the story couldn't get any darker, a new name surfaced. Jonathan O.D.I. A man with a complex past, a former model, a part-time sex worker, and now, at the center of a scandal that threatened to unravel everything. According to legal records, Jonathan was paid a staggering $2 million to keep silent. The payment came after he claimed that Cassie had given him an infection during their encounters. Yes, $2 million, a sum so large it sent shockwaves through the courtroom and everyone following the case. In his deposition, Jonathan laid bare a dangerous reality. He said he was with Cassie during her off weeks, times when she was away from Diddy. And it wasn't just casual. It was risky. Encounters happened without protection. Lines were crossed that could have had devastating consequences. "I threatened to talk," Jonathan confessed under oath. Then the check came. "I shut up." Investigators dug deeper. They found the wire transfer, traced the money to a sleek piece of real estate Jonathan had purchased afterward. The timeline fit perfectly. The pieces fell into place. If all of this was true, then what was supposed to be a private affair was something far more sinister. A hidden web of lies, payments, and desperate attempts to protect reputations at any cost. This wasn't just about betrayal in a relationship anymore. It was about secrets buried beneath luxury and power, about money used to silence the truth. The $2 million payout wasn't just a number on a ledger. It was a symbol of everything that had gone wrong, a price tag on betrayal and deceit. And for Diddy, the revelation wasn't just a blow to his heart. It was a brutal reminder of the complex, messy world he was trapped in. This battle wasn't fought just in headlines or whispered rumors. It reached deep into Diddy's inner circle, into the very heart of his family. People who once stood beside him stepped forward, their testimonies peeling back layers of truth that no one could ignore. Misa Hilton, a close friend and fashion icon in Diddy's world, took the stand. She spoke of a side of Diddy few had seen, the rage that sometimes consumed him. She recalled a moment so intense that he threw a wooden hanger at one of Cassie's friends in a fit of anger. It wasn't just frustration. It was a glimpse into the darker corners of a man pushed to his limits. Then, there was Sarah Chapman, closely connected to Kim Porter, Diddy's late longtime partner. Her words painted a picture of fear and manipulation lurking beneath the surface. She described moments when power wasn't just wielded, it was weaponized. The kind of emotional control that fractures trust and leaves scars invisible to the outside world. And then came Quincy Brown, Kim Porter's son. Quietly, he entered the courtroom wearing a simple hat that read, "Free Puff." A small gesture, but one loaded with meaning. It was confusing. Why would someone so close to the family take a side so openly? It was heartbreaking. It was divisive. The world watched as the cracks in Diddy's carefully constructed empire began to show. The people who once loved him, who were meant to be his pillars, now stood in opposition. This wasn't just a trial about love or betrayal anymore. It was a family unraveling, a portrait of loyalty tested and shattered. The testimonies didn't just change the story, they changed everything. The foundation beneath Diddy's world was no longer solid. It was crumbling, piece by painful piece, in front of everyone's eyes. Sometimes, the loudest revelations come not from what's said, but from what's deliberately kept silent. In this trial, one of the most shocking moments wasn't a confession or an outburst. It was the eerie silence inside Cassie's digital world. Her phone and iPad, seized by investigators, became a battleground of secrets. When forensic experts took the stand, they dropped a bombshell. Both devices had been wiped clean, erased. The data vanished like it never existed. Gone were the conversations, the messages, the photos, anything that might have offered clarity or truth. But deletion isn't perfect. Not everything disappears. What remained were fragments, shards of a digital footprint that hinted at something much darker. Hidden conversations with Michael B. Jordan surfaced. Cryptic, secretive exchanges that raised more questions than answers. Financial transactions appeared. Mysterious, unexplained movements of money that suggested a hidden world behind the glamour. And chillingly, files were deleted mere minutes before the police arrived, as if someone knew the storm was coming and tried to erase their tracks. What was supposed to be proof of innocence turned into a puzzle of suspicion. The more the investigators dug, the murkier the picture became. In that courtroom, the wiped devices became a symbol, a digital black hole swallowing the truth and replacing it with doubt. The evidence that should have cleared Cassie only deepened the shadows around her. The silence in those wiped files screamed louder than any testimony. It whispered of secrets kept too long, of things meant to stay buried. And as the trial unfolded, that silence weighed heavy on everyone's minds. Because sometimes, the absence of truth is the loudest truth of all. This story isn't finished. If anything, it feels like it's only just begun. As the courtroom doors temporarily close, the battle continues beyond the public eye. Michael B. Jordan's legal team is working hard, pushing to distance him completely from the scandal. They want to erase his name from the headlines, from the accusations, from the damage. Meanwhile, whispers ripple through the industry. Some say Cassie might be called back to testify, forced once again to face the spotlight and all the pain it brings. Others speculate she's seeking a quiet settlement, trying to put an end to the chaos behind closed doors. But the biggest rumor of all is the possibility of another key witness stepping forward, someone from Diddy's past, someone who claims to know everything, every secret, every hidden truth that could tilt the scales. The tension is palpable, the stakes higher than ever. What's clear is that this trial has ripped the veil off a world that was meant to stay hidden. It has exposed wounds nobody wanted to see, deep, raw, and impossible to cover up with money or fame. This isn't just a story about celebrities, affairs, or betrayals. It's about pain so real it shakes the foundations of power. About truths so painful they threaten to destroy everything. And no matter how this ends, one thing is certain. This trial has changed lives forever. It has cracked the shiny surface of wealth and glamour, revealing the fractures beneath. For Diddy, Cassie, Michael, and everyone caught in the crossfire, the road ahead is uncertain. and fraught with consequences. And no matter what happens, this story will never be forgotten. This story is far from over. In fact, it's about to get even deeper, darker, and more revealing than anything we've seen so far. If you want to be the first to hear the next chapter, when new witnesses step up, secrets unravel, and the truth finally comes to light, you've got to be ready. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think. Did Michael B. Jordan cross the line? Was Cassie a victim of manipulation? Or was she making her own choices all along? We want to hear your take. This isn't the end of the story, it's only the beginning. Stay with us. The truth is coming, and you won't want to miss a second.